So one of the biggest complaints I hear from people all the time when they're dating a dismissive avoidant is they feel like the dismissive avoidant doesn't really go deep in conversations, especially early on. It almost just feels like there is a wall up as a whole. So in today's video, we are going to talk about 3 very small, very specific hacks that you can leverage to change that. Now, I want to be mindful to say that you should also make sure that if you're dating anybody of any attachment style, you are vetting them. Are they a good fit? What you're looking for? Are your standards met in a relationship? Are there non-negotiables or red flags on the table that you're ignoring? And are those things solvable problems or not? These are all important questions to ask yourself. But if you do see growth, if you do see the needle moving and this person really making an effort, that is something that happens way more often than the internet ever gives credit for. So let's unpack it. Let's talk about it right now. So first and foremost, one of the easiest ways to actually help a dismissive avoidant to open up is to ask very specific questions. One of the things you'll see all the time with dismissive avoidance is if you say general things like, hey, how's your day going? How was work? Did anything exciting happen? If you ask really general questions, you are probably going to get a very general response. You'll get a good, it was fine, how was yours? These very, very general dynamics, because dismissive avoidants are usually people of fewer words and they're not used to co-regulating. They're not used to sharing their internal reality or internal world with people as openly as you'll generally see with a lot of other attachment styles. So in order to get a response, you want to ask more specific questions. What you want to avoid is very, very intense, very deep questions when you're just getting to know somebody. So if you're like on your second date, you don't want to ask something like, hey, what was your biggest childhood trauma? Instead, you want to ask questions that are going to allow the person to build a sense of trust with you over time, but really specific questions. And I even want to share a list just of a few examples here. So let's say that you are dating a dismissal avoidant. You might pick slightly more general questions like, what's one goal that you have that really excites you? What is something that you're really working towards in your career that's meaningful to you? How do you tend to form close friendships with people? Who do you appreciate the most in your life or spend the most time with? I mean, you'll ask specific questions like that, okay? But as you start to get to know somebody a little more deeply, you might, if you're in a relationship with somebody, ask things like, hey, what's something you've been thinking a lot about lately that you haven't shared with anyone? Or what's something that makes you feel the most seen or heard or understood in our relationship? Or what's one thing about yourself that you realize that you wish that more people understood? These types of things, when they're very specific, you are actually going to get a much more beneficial response. Okay. So that's tip number 1, get specific. Number 2, another really important thing to be able to do if you're trying to get a dismissive avoidant to open up is be mindful about how you are when somebody shares something. So if you are somebody who is often critical or judgmental or gossipy or any of those things, that is going to cause a dismissive avoidant to feel absolutely terrified. They are usually really afraid and uncomfortable around anybody who's really critical on an ongoing basis because they have such big internal shame wounds that they're often afraid of themselves being the ones criticized or judged. One of the biggest antidotes to this is acceptance. If somebody share something or they share something that is slightly vulnerable, they're usually going to test a little bit in the relationship to see if they can share and how you'll respond. So if they open up and they share something that they think is even slightly embarrassing, if you're like, hey, that's not a big deal, everybody has their stuff, or you just normalize some of these things in a relationship, that is fantastic. That's going to cause them to feel emotionally safe and to learn to drop their guard. Now, I will say this because this often gets confused. This is not at the expense of you having needs. You can communicate a need that you have to somebody in a relationship without coming across as shaming or critical. In other words, you can say, hey, I haven't shared this with you before, but sometimes I need a little more certainty when we make plans in our relationship. And it would mean a lot to me if we could work towards that. But I do want to let you know, I totally appreciate all the other ways you show up in the relationship. You could even give a specific example of one of those ways. And so this allows you to have a very accepting attitude towards this person while also still being able to communicate your needs. And so this is a one-way street where you're just accepting everything that comes and being okay with everything and never communicating or conveying about it. If you're somebody who's truly interested in helping others while also securing financial freedom for your future, there is a limited time option to join our 50% off certified relationship coach program. And this is a 12-week program where you can create financial freedom, work from anywhere in the world, and truly make an impact on other individuals' lives by becoming a certified relationship coach in just 12 weeks. Throughout this entire 12 weeks, you will learn all of the tools that you need to discover somebody's attachment style and help them heal and change their attachment style if they are insecurely attached so that they can become secure and build the best relationships of their life. On top of that, you'll learn all about the subconscious mind and how to actually rewire our painful limiting beliefs, our painful behavioral patterns, and help your clients learn their relationship needs, as well as the needs of their loved ones. You'll also learn how to build a thriving coaching practice and set yourself up for long-term success. You will learn all of the business tips and tools you need to build funnels, leverage marketing strategies, and really thrive in the marketplace. Even if you have absolutely no coaching experience, this certification will give you everything you need starting from scratch to become a thriving relationship coach. You can find more using the link down below. Now, the last major thing that often really gets dismissive avoidants to lower their guard is if they feel like you understand them. So this can happen through repeating statements back that they share, or if they say specific things about them, to let them know that you remember those things. If they tell you one day that, they had a hard day at work and it was because they were overwhelmed and their boss kept putting stuff on their plate, you can bring that up later. Hey, did you ever set those boundaries with your boss so you don't have stuff on your plate all the time? Or even just repeating back to them, yeah, I can see how that would be really overwhelming. That's not a fun situation to be in. Although dismissive avoidants don't often show it on their face, they tend to respond exceptionally well to empathy, to supportiveness, to feeling like they are understood by somebody or known by somebody. So remembering those little details and being able to share them or just being able to validate what they're experiencing or going through goes a very long way. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you want to go much deeper into really making a relationship work with anybody of any attachment style and also being able to vet if it's the healthy and right relationship for you, you can check out our How to Repair Any Relationship course. It's all about friendships, family, romantic relationships, dating, situationships, and really being able to vet, first of all, should I even be investing in this long term? And second of all, exactly the steps to take if you feel it does pass the test and it's a healthy investment to make so you can really ramp up your connection and relationships long term. And that link is in the chat below. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of these videos, and I'll see you next time.